Welcome to another video of Edifo on hypothesis testing. This video is all about another non-parametric test called McNemar Test. Let's begin. Let's consider an example of effectiveness of advertisement campaign. Here is our example. A company decided to conduct a survey to check the efficiency of the new advertisement campaign for its brand A among the customers. They prepare a questionnaire to collect data for this purpose. They asked about the brand they used before seeing the advertisement. They can answer the question in a dichotomous fashion like brand A or other brand. 3 months later, after the release of the new advertisement, the company asked the same question to the same customers, because then only they can identify whether there is any shift has happened from other brand to brand A or brand A to other brand. Then we can identify the effectiveness of the advertisement campaign. This is the problem that we are going to check using McNemar test. McNemar test was created by Quinn McNemar, an American psychologist and statistician. He was a professor in the psychology and statistics department at Stanford University. He was a president of Psychometric Association in 1951 and the president of American Psychological Association in 1964. In 1942, he published the revision of the Stanford Binet scale, the IQ test released in 1916 by Terman. He was also worked in the University of Texas. Now move to what is McNemar test. McNemar test is a non-parametric test, or we can say it is a distribution-free test, just like as chi-square test. This test is used to determine if there are differences on a dichotomous dependent variable between two related groups. The two related groups here, before the advertisement and after the advertisement. McNemar test is similar to paired sample t-test or dependent sample t-test. The difference is that in McNemar test, the dependent variable should be measured dichotomously, but in t-test, dependent variable should be in continuous fashion. This is a main difference. In McNemar test, we are collecting data in a dichotomous fashion, that is only two options. Here in our example, brand A or other brand. Sometimes McNemar test is also called within subject chi-square test, because this test follows chi-square distribution. McNemar test compares the proportions for two correlated dichotomous variables. These two variables may be two responses on a single individual. Two responses means before and after the advertisement campaign. We use McNemar test for the purpose of analyzing significant change that has occurred in a before-after situation where data is obtained in both situations from the same respondents. That means we are collecting data before the advertisement and after the advertisement from the same person. That means from the same respondents using the same questionnaire. So, McNemar test is a matched pair test used to determine whether there is a significant change in nominal data before and after the event. Matched pair means we are collecting data from the same person before and from the same person after. Specifically, this test is used when we want to find out the effectiveness of a particular treatment, such as implementation of a new training program, release of a new advertisement, administration of a new drugs, and so on. Here the treatment in our example is the effectiveness of advertisement campaign. We are introducing a new campaign and we compare what is the demand of our product before the campaign and after the campaign. So advertisement campaign is our treatment. Now we move to the assumptions of McNemar test. This is the first assumption. One nominal variable with two categories that should be indichotomous, and one independent variable with two connected groups. The examples of dichotomous variables are only two options to answer. For example, pass, fail, yes, no, safe, unsafe, low, high, like this. In our example, the dichotomy is two brands. Brand A, that's our brand, or other brand. Clear? Dichotomy means only two options to answer. The next, independent variable with the two connected groups. Having an independent variable with the two connected or related groups indicates that you have a pre-test, post-test matched pairs. In our example, two groups of data that we have. The first one, the data that we are collected before the advertisement campaign, and the second group is the data that we are collected after the advertisement campaign. The thing you need to remember is that the questionnaire that we are used are same, and we are collecting data from the same person or the same respondents before and after the advertisement campaign. This is the first assumption. Second assumption is that the two groups of your dependent variables must be mutually exclusive. That means the participant can only be in one of the two groups. They cannot be in both groups at the same time. In other words, participants cannot appear in more than one group. The last assumption is that your sample must be a random sample. That should be a perfect random sample. Now we move to the advantages of McNemar test. Why we use the McNemar test for testing the effectiveness of some treatments. The first advantage is that the test is simple and easy to compute. The second advantage is that this is the only technique available to study the effect of particular treatment, where the effect is measured on a nominal scale with a dichotomous variable from the same sample. This is the second advantage. If you are measure the nominal scale in a dichotomous way from the same sample, that means in a before-after style, this is a one and only technique you can use to study the effect of the treatment. The third advantage is that since this test is based on chi-square distribution, the significance of the effect of treatment can be ascertained. We have already discussed about the one sample and the two sample chi-square test in our previous videos. Please go through that video. I have already given the link for that videos in the description section. Now we move to the procedure for conducting McNemar test. The first step is the formulation of hypothesis. So we need to formulate the null and alternate hypothesis for our example. Here is the null hypothesis. The number of customers who prefer brand A is the same before and after the release of the new advertisement. That means the before and after the advertisement, the number of persons used our brand are same. That means advertisement campaign has no impact. The customers are not increasing after the advertisement campaign. There is no shift that you can see after the advertisement from other brand to brand A. This is our null hypothesis. That means there is no change before and after the advertisement campaign. The alternate hypothesis is the number of customers who prefer brand A is significantly greater in the post-advertisement situation than it is in the pre-advertisement situation. That means after the advertisement campaign, the number of customers prefer brand A increased. Or we can say from other brands, the customers are shifting to brand A after the advertisement campaign. That means advertisement campaign has an impact. So these are the two hypotheses. Null is there is no difference before and after the advertisement campaign. That means advertisement campaign has no impact. But in alternate hypothesis, there is a change or there is a shift from other brand to brand A after the advertisement. That means advertisement campaign has an impact. Now, the second step, questionnaire. Here is only one question. Specify the brand you are using. The first option is brand A and second option is the brand other or other brand, because we are using the McNemar test, so only dichotomous nominal variable should be allowed. Only two options, brand A and other brand. So they can answer any one of them because that should be mutually exclusive. Another assumption. So if the respondent choose brand A, we denote it as 1. If the respondent choose other brand, we record it as 0. So the second step is questionnaire preparation. Keep it in mind, you should collect the data in a dichotomous fashion. Now the third step, that is preparation of a contingency table in a 2x2 fashion, because McNemar collect the data in a dichotomous fashion. So the same as the chi-square test, we need to prepare a contingency table in 2x2 fashion. Look here. 4 columns, 2x2. The first column represents, we can name it as A, column A. Here we are recording how many people use brand A before and after the advertisement. That means before the advertisement campaign and after the advertisement campaign, how many customers are using our brand. The advertisement has no impact because before and after the same people are using, so advertisement has no impact. Second column is something different. How many are shifted from A to other brands? That means before the advertisement campaign, some people are using brand A, but after the advertisement campaign, they are shifted to other brand. This is due to the negative impact of advertisement campaign that may happen. So this is the second column, the column B. The third column is just opposite of that of column B. That means before the advertisement campaign, how many are using other brand, and after the advertisement campaign, they are shifted to our brand, that is brand A. This is the impact of advertisement campaign. This is the positiveness of advertisement campaign. That means before advertisement campaign they are using other brand, and after they are shifted to our brand, that is brand A. The fourth column, column D, just opposite of that of column A. Before and after there is no shift in using brand O. That means before and after they are still in other brands. Here look, the column B and column C are important. These two columns are not important. This column makes the variance. B represents after the campaign how many are shifted from our brand to other brand. Here in column C we count the number of respondents who are shifted from other brand to our brand. Get it? So this way you need to prepare a 2 by 2 contingency table. This is the step 3. Now we move to step 4. The step 4 is the McNemar chi-square value calculation using the McNemar test equation. Here is the equation of McNemar chi-square value. Chi-square value of McNemar equal to the difference of absolute value of B and C minus 1 whole square divided by the sum of B plus C. That is a column B and column C. That is the difference of, here you see, the difference of column B and column C. That's absolute value minus 1 whole square divided by the sum of column B and column C. Got it? Then we compare the chi-square value with the chi-square critical value at a level of significance. So now we move to the Excel for solving this problem. Let's move to Excel. Open Excel. Here I am going to create 2 columns for recording the responses of the customers. The first column is before advertisement and the second column is after advertisement. Before and after. That means this column represents the respondents of customers before the advertisement campaign, and this column we are going to record the responses of the customers after the advertisement campaign. Here I'm recording 1 as they are using brand A before, and 0 they are using other brands. So 1 represents brand A, 0 represents brand other. So here the first respondent used brand A before the advertisement campaign, and second respondent used the brand other before the advertisement campaign. After the advertisement, we are again collect the data from the same respondents. Then the first respondent gives other brand. That means after the advertisement campaign, the first respondent shifted to other brands from brand A. The second respondent gives 1. That means after the advertisement campaign, he shifted from other brand to brand A. Like this, you just collect the data of the respondents. Here I am going to collect the data of 250 respondents. Our sample size is 250. So go and collect and fill the columns. Be fast. Now the data are ready. Here the first column represents the usage of the brand before the advertisement. 1 represents brand A and 0 represents brand other. The second column, again we are take the response of the same customers using the same questionnaire after the advertisement, and these are their responses. Here 0 represents the other brand and 1 represents the brand A. Look here, the first respondent before the advertisement campaign, he used brand A, and after advertisement campaign, he shifted to other brand. Here, before and after, there is no change. Third respondent, no change. But the fourth respondent, before the advertisement campaign, he used other brand, and after the advertisement campaign, he shifted to brand A. So, we are going to calculate the McNemar chi-square value for checking the effectiveness of the brand advertisement campaign. Okay, so for that purpose, we need to create a contingency table in 2x2 format. So here is the 2x2 contingency table. This is a diagram that we are familiar with in the previous section. Column A represents before A and after A. The same way here you can see before the advertisement brand A, after the advertisement brand A. Get it? Before A, after A. That is this column, A column. Then B column, before A, after other. Look it. Before brand A, after other brand. We are count the customers in this category here. This column represents this one. Before other brand, but after shifted to our brand. So, before the advertisement, other brand, but after the advertisement, brand A. This column. We are counting the customers under this category. This column, that column D, before other brand and after other brand. Listen, before other brand here and after other brand here. So, we are going to count the customers in each category. Then we are going to apply the McNemar's equation. So, here I am going to delete this chart. Now, we are going to calculate the first category. That means before and after using the same brand. How many? Look here. Before 1, after 0. No. Here you can see before and after 1. We need to count the cells containing 1 in both columns. Okay. So you can apply the equation. So there is a function in Excel for doing this. That function is countIfs equal to countIfs. We can count a criteria using multiple conditions. Okay. So first criteria range this one. So select the 250 respondents. So comma, we are going to count how many ones in the first column. Then comma, second range. So we need to count the range here and count how many ones in the first range. So again we are going to count the ones in the second range here. Then close the bracket. Get it? So from the first range, this column, we are going to count the ones. How many ones are there? From second column, we are going to count how many ones are in the second column. That means both column contains 1 means before and after they are using brand A. Okay, press enter. 75. So 75 customers are using brand A before and after the campaign. Get it? Now we need to count before A but after O. We can count here before A and after O. So it is very easy. Click here. You can see the equation at the top. Copy that equation. Copy. Then we can paste it here. We can paste here. And the only change you need to make is convert this, that is before A but after 0. Easy. Before 1 and after others. How many? 44. Okay. That means 44 customers are shifted from our brand to other brand due to the advertisement campaign. Okay. So here we need to count before other brand but after our brand. How many are shifted to our brand? Okay, so we are going to count again. Copy the same equation here and change here from other, that means from 0 to 1. No change. Get it? From other brand to our brand. How many? 73. After the advertisement campaign, 73 customers shifted from other brand to our brand. Now, before and after, how many customers are still stayed in other brands? Okay, so click here and paste the equation in the formula bar. Copy before other brand and after other brand. Okay, before and after 0. 2 columns are 0. How many? 58. Now we need to total it. Equal 53 plus 75, 148, equal 58 plus 44, 102. Total the columns equal 45 plus 44, 119, equal 73 plus 58. Then total it. Both are same. This should be our sample size. So, auto sum, we can apply 250 is our sample. 148 plus 102, 250. 119 plus 131, 250. So, this is the 2 by 2 contingency table. You can explain the contingency table like this. 75 people stayed before and after the advertisement campaign in our brand. Here, before and after, there is a shift from our brand to other brand. After the advertisement campaign, from our brand, 44 customers are moved to other brand. That is a negative impact of advertisement campaign. Here, this is a positive side. 73 customers are shifted from other brand to our brand after the advertisement campaign. So these two columns are very important. How many are left out and how many shifted to brand A. Here, no change. That means before and after, 58 customers stayed on other brands. Here, stayed on brand A. Total 250. Now, we move to the equation of McNemar chi-square value. Here is the equation of chi-square value of McNemar test. That is the difference between B and C minus 1, then whole square, then sum of the value of B and C. Then how we can calculate? We can apply an equation Excel. Chi-square value equal to we need to find out the absolute. This symbol is absolute symbol. The pipe symbol is called absolute value of B minus C. So we start with absolute. The function is ABS, absolute value of this one. That means B minus C. Close the bracket. Now, the absolute difference between column B and column C, then minus 1, then close the bracket, then square means this caret symbol, square, this is square, that. Now this portion, denominator, B plus C. So divided by, within bracket, B plus C. Okay. Now press enter key. You can see 6.700855 is the chi-square value. That is McNemar chi-square value 6.700855. Got? Now we need to calculate the chi-square critical value. So chi-square critical value, That's an equation for calculating the chi-square critical value. In Excel, the function is that equal to CHIINV, this function. Chi-square critical value, CHIINV. The probability is the first argument, probability is the level of significance. Here we are going to 0.05 is our probability. Then degree of freedom is 1 because degree of freedom is row minus 1 into column minus 1. Row minus 1, 2 minus 1 into 2 minus 1. That is 1. Degree of freedom is 1. Close the bracket. Now we will get chi-square critical value. That is 3.841. Now we have got the chi-square value and chi-square critical value at 0.05 level of significance. Here the chi-square value is greater than the chi-square critical value. Then we will reject the null hypothesis because the chi-square value is in the rejection region. Now the critical value approach. So first of all, we need to compare the test statistics. Here it is the McNemar chi-square value and critical value, chi-square critical value. This is a chi-square distribution. Here our chi-square critical value is 3.841. This divides the distribution into two parts, that is the acceptance region and the rejection region. If the calculated test statistics, that is our McNemar chi-square value, is 6.700, that means it is in the rejection region, that is 6.700 here. If the chi-square test statistics value is greater than the critical value, we will reject the null hypothesis. Otherwise, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Now we can compare where it resides. It resides in the rejection region. So we can conclude that the null hypothesis is rejected. That means the advertisement campaign has an impact on our brand. Now how we can interpret and report this result. Reporting and interpretation. This way we can interpret it. A test was conducted for the effectiveness of advertisement campaign on the brand of product. Then chi-square within bracket. The first parameter is the degree of freedom. Our degree of freedom is 1. N equal to 250, that is the sample size equal to 50, equal to 6.700. That is a chi-square value. The p-value less than 0.5 because we are rejecting the null hypothesis. Definitely the p-value should be less than 0.5. The number of customers who prefer brand A is significantly greater in the post-advertisement situation than it is in the pre-advertisement situation. That means we can conclude that the advertisement campaign has a perfect impact on our brand. That means after the advertisement campaign, more customers are shifted from other brand to our brand. So this is all about McNemar test. There's a lot of situations you can apply in your daily social science surveys. Try to apply this test. So thank you for watching this video. I hope this video will be helpful for you. Please share this video to your friends and colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe my channel, and I invite healthy comments in the comment section below. I have already given some YouTube links on informative videos in the description section below. Please go through that. So see you on next video. Thank you.